Hello everyone, my name is Norman and welcome to my review of Game 4 of the Washington Capitals versus the New York Islanders. Now, this game was different. It was different in a lot of ways. It was different in that it was a turning point for the Capitals in this series, and I feel that they might actually mount a challenge in Game 5, perhaps 6, perhaps 7, if it goes to that point. But it was also different in the way that the New York Islanders just looked uninspired, except for the first 10 minutes. So, this game was a game without, obviously, Nicklas Backstrom. He still hasn't recovered from his injury from Game 1, and it could have possibly been Braden Holtby's last game as a Capital. However, will it turn out to be? We'll see that later. So, straight away, Brendan Dillon takes a penalty for Washington, and that's definitely not the way you want to start a game when you're 3-0 down in the series. However, the PK is successful, and Washington's penalty kill has actually been really impressive this season. They've been the best team with the PK, I believe, and they've definitely been the reason why Washington will go on to a Game 5 with the penalties that they gave away. It's good to see that something goes right for Washington, and that can actually spur the team on to do great in Game 5. However, that being said, 3 minutes 50 in, Jean-Gabriel Pageau gives New York the lead. He puts them on the board, and I was already thinking, is this it yet again for the Capitals? Are they about to get swept? And actually, things go from bad to worse, and not even having played 10 minutes, Matthew Barzal doubles the lead for New York. Barry Trotz is on the other bench. If anyone knows how to defeat this Washington team, it's bound to be him. And honestly, it didn't look good at all. And yes, I know some teams take a little while to get into the game, but there's a huge difference between getting into a game and throwing a game away in the first 9 minutes. 4 minutes before time, Garnet Hathaway tries to take Barzal out. A fight nearly breaks out and both teams get a penalty. However, Hathaway gets a double minor, so it's 4 New York go on the power play, but that power play is skilled. And that was a huge moment for Washington, because if they go 3-0 down with 4 minutes to play in the first, that definitely does not see a comeback like we saw today. And 3-0 actually nearly happened. Braden Holtby is saved by the crossbar on an Anthony Beauvillier shot. Wilson nearly gets a breakaway. He gets pulled back. It's a hooking call. So that was a great play by him, getting the play back to a 4-on-4 and eventually a short power play. But still, Washington needs to calm the game down. They need to collect themselves. They need to make sure that going into the second, they don't concede anything. And that's the thing about Tom Wilson. Say what you want about Tom Wilson, and I completely get why people dislike him. But him and Oshie have probably been the best and the only performers for the Capitals in this series, and they're the two biggest reasons why they are still in there going into Game 5. Ovi takes the penalty just a few seconds before time, and that was looking to me like it was the moment that would invigorate the Washington Capitals. I actually tweeted about it, that New York made a mistake in angering him, and as it would turn out to be, it was a mistake. So the Capitals definitely played better in the second half of the first period, but it still wasn't looking great. The shots were 9-13 in New York's favor, and they showed good moments of hockey, but again, that is what gets them every single time in the series, is that they show good moments of hockey, but the bad moments are really bad. That's when they concede, and they don't just concede 1 or 2, they sometimes concede 3, and that's honestly something that they just need to cut out if they go into Game 5, perhaps Game 6, perhaps Game 7, and with a miracle, if they go into the second round, they need to cut this out. So the second starts with New York on the power play. Washington does a great job of nullifying that power play. Barzal actually takes a penalty himself 30 seconds into that power play, meaning Washington get a power play themselves for 90 seconds. But just before that, Varlamov makes a great save. Mayfield actually gets a delay of the game penalty. He gets a penalty as well. It's a 5-on-3 for Washington for 1 minute 25, and they have to score this. They have to get a goal back now, because if they don't get a goal back now, that's game over. That's a huge dent in their confidence, and they don't get anything, and New York probably goes on to score then. And Kuznetsov actually does get one back like a gazelle. He neatly goes past the goal, he puts it in coolly, and Barzal goes out the box immediately. However, he goes back into it for a holding call yet again. That gives New York no time to respond to that goal, and it just gives even more momentum to Washington, which they need to capitalize on. So it's 4-on-4 for 1 minute 30, and on the 30-second power play that Washington actually do have, Ovechkin gets the puck in his Ovi spot. He blasts one in the net. It's a tie game, 2-2 with just over 25 minutes to play, and this is proving to be a game and a half. The game just continues to get more physical. Tom Wilson gets a penalty call for boarding. What a surprise. People are starting to fight. That penalty is killed. And after the kill, Washington just looked like a beast on the attack. They sustained some offensive zone for long stretches of time. And they need to capitalize. They get a few flurry of shots in. They get some good hits on. New York can't retaliate. They actually get a tripping call on Tom Wilson with 3:18 left. And Washington goes on the power play yet again. The fifth already, however, nothing comes of that. So the last period started off really calmly. Both teams are trying not to concede. Both teams are trying not to take stupid penalties. And 3:40 into the period, Ovi from the right side of the ice takes a wrister. It goes past Varlamov. New York is behind for the first time in this game. Washington leads the game 3-2. And it looks like Washington might actually pull this off. So Ovi actually passed Crosby and Gordie Howe for most goals in the playoffs with that goal. Congratulations to him. What a player. The Caps take a penalty 7 minutes in, but the PK again was immaculate. And the next few minutes, yet again, didn't really show much. Nothing really of note happened. No fight really, no really done penalties, no goal. And the game just was less physical, and both teams were probably just trying to keep their forces for the next game. New York obviously was trying to score. Washington looked very solid on defense. They knew not to let the game slip away from them. If you don't concede, you win. If you score, you might still lose. Over with 30 seconds left, nearly gets an empty net goal. He misses. Lars Eller tries his luck. He misses too. The game ends 3-2 for Washington. However, the series is still 3-1 for New York. Am I expecting a Caps comeback? I can see it happen, but I'm not expecting it. New York, with a basic hockey, look good. It has worked for 3 games. Why shouldn't it work for just one more game? With Todd Reardon coaching the Capitals, I'm very uncertain that they can do something. With Barry Trotz coaching the New York Islanders, that's a huge boost, in my opinion, for them. He knows the Capitals more than the Capitals know New York. I'm expecting New York to still go through, but you never know. I just hope that we get to a Game 7 where the stakes are high and both teams play at the best of their capabilities and we actually get Nick Backstrom back. So, that was it for the review of Game 4 of the New York Islanders versus the Washington Capitals. I hope you've enjoyed this. If you haven't yet, please subscribe and I'll see you later.